Brian, this is one of the hardest hit areas in Baltimore. You can still see the windows here at the CVS pharmacy are still boarded up. It's been a deadly month for Baltimore. 35 murders this month alone, with 8 happening over this holiday weekend. The deadliest month so far since 1999. So a Catholic bishop is taking to the streets tonight, praying for peace. You can find the legacy of the Americans with Disabilities Act around every corner, whether it's the cutouts of the curb that make it easy for a wheelchair or our equipment. The windows on this Italian cafe smashed last night. Now it's boarded up as businesses across the city are taking similar precautions. We found this brick right outside the doors here. Yes! I go in there to record video every time and I just get pummeled with snowballs. 25,000 people have tickets for the papal mass here in D.C. 15,000 will have seats on this grass right here. And then another 10,000 people will be standing room only surrounding the area. Ryan, I am at the Capitol right now, but you can't tell because of all the snow that's coming down. It's been coming down all day. The good news is the National Weather Service says this could be winter's last blast. Trying to escape the snow? You're not alone. Congress wrapped up business early so they could get out of town yesterday. The snow shut down the federal government in D.C. today.
It's a little change in weather from all the 70 degrees we've been having out in California, so.
You're just rubbing it in on us. But the snow is no laughing matter for those planning to fly.
And I don't know what to do. You know, it's really frustrating.
Airlines canceled more than 3,000 flights across the country. Michelle Lamb hoped to visit her daughter and grandchildren in Nashville. Instead, she's stuck here at Reagan National Airport.
God's got a plan for everybody. And I'll look at it that way. I'm at least safe.
Winter's been tough for many parts of the nation. Kentucky got dumped with 20 inches of snow overnight. It left hundreds of drivers stranded. Some have been there since last night.
The National Guard's been called out, search and rescue. They're trying to get some of these people out of their cars and off the exit because it's going to get very cold tonight. It's going to clear out. We're going to see single digits below zero readings, and a lot of these people are starting to run out of gas.
But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. The National Weather Service says the next couple weeks should be much warmer. So this could be the last chance for kids to enjoy the snow. But before the temperatures start to warm up and before this stuff starts to melt, forecasters saying we're going to have several days of record-breaking colds across the country. Brian, 3,000 police and guardsmen are trying to keep the peace, making sure we don't have a repeat of what happened Monday. The rioting, the looting, breaking into stores like the one behind me. They did have a curfew all night long until 5 this morning with little accounts of disturbance. Now, here at St. Bernardine's Catholic Church in Baltimore, the message is clear. Pray and help clean up.
They take my cigars, candies. That's all I have.
Looters left a mess for Khan Javid Monday night.
There's one guy standing right there.
Then Tuesday morning, he was held up. St. Bernardine staff are cleaning up Javid's convenience store and repairing the damages. Across the street, the doors of the parish have stayed open.
To see those young men not hanging out on the corner, you know, not looting, not robbing, but to see them in church praising God, it was just awesome.
This young man had a message for rioters.
Like, all y'all doing is tearing our city up. Like, come on, what's the point of all that? How's that bringing justice?
The riots began after the funeral of Freddie Gray, who mysteriously died in police custody. Monsignor Rich Bozelli says what the country saw earlier this week doesn't represent the city he knows.
Baltimore is a fabulous city. You know, the witness you're seeing of the churches, the communities coming together to clean up, to really try to calm the place down. I mean, I think that's the true Baltimore that everybody really believes in.
And for that, this shop owner is grateful.
Thank you.
And the prayers continue here at St. Bernardine Catholic Church in Baltimore. They're going to have a special collection for riot relief, which is going to take place this Sunday. Now, tonight in several parishes across the Archdiocese, there's special masses for peace and justice scheduled. Brian? In East Baltimore, urban blight on one side, jail on the other.
And standing right in between is the hope of Christ in the form of our school.
Since its founding in 1828, students at St. Francis Academy have seen slavery, the civil rights movement, and now the riots last Monday.
The kids tried to get a point over, but they did not have a good way to do it. They just didn't know how to get their anger out.
Anger over the death of Freddie Gray. Police officers are now facing charges in his arrest and death. Freshman Serenity Faith Chambers says she's heard her friends called the N-word, but it's her name that has new meaning today.
We create peace around this world, like my name means. We create peace around here. We just come together and we stop all this.
Her brother Matthew has high hopes for the city of Baltimore.
I think it can be a very good place to live if we as young people like change the aspect of it.
And Lorenzo Simpson knows he can lead by example.
I could personally make a difference by just being a good role model to younger people, so when they grow up, if another time come around like this, they will know how to react to it.
You can only grab these sweets once a year, a tradition almost 60 years in the baking. Nick Vaccaro is doing his father's work.
It's something that I want to do because I feel that I'm obligated to do, because if I stopped it, it would end.
Mixing an old world recipe.
It's mostly an egg batter.
Passed down by a Sicilian grandmother.
That helps them keep their round shape.
For Timothy Quick and most of the employees here, working at Vaccaro's is tradition.
I watched my grandmother do this, and then I started doing it.
What are these things called, by the way?
Sfingi. Sfingi the San Giuseppe.
Sfingi.
My father made it, I make it, okay?
Nick's father, Gioacchino, grew up in Palermo, Sicily. He started selling Italian pastries in Baltimore almost 60 years ago. Vaccaro's used to fry up double what they do now, 1,400 Sfingi. Nick says sales are down each year as less people keep up with the tradition.
It's sad only because I know eventually it'll end.
So Nick is keeping the tradition cooking by stuffing the pastries with chocolate chips and cannoli cream.
Bless us, O Lord.
Dominican Father Hugh Vincent Dyer encourages the faithful to pick up a St. Joseph pastry.
When we go to celebrate the goodness of the Lord to us, we think of sugar. We think of that sweetness, that milk and that honey of the promised land.
Happy Feast in Baltimore. Jason Calvi, EWTN News Nightly.
That is so awesome.
The D.C. area got as much as 6 inches of snow in some areas. The storm moved across Arkansas and Kentucky, dumping snow from Nashville to Nantucket. The snow forced the federal government to close its offices, allowing congressional staffer David Dry to focus on getting the perfect shot.
I'm from Los Angeles. Never done a winter before. This is my first snow day. It's pretty exciting.
Hundreds of people took part in a massive snowball fight. For some, it was a first.
I just asked her how to pack a snowball. I don't really know how to do that.
You really don't?
Yeah. No, really.
Okay, pack it. Okay, now stand back.
But that didn't stick.
Jackie Briggs of Florida is learning a new skill today. Ready, aim, throw.
I've never lived in snow, so this is what I imagine it would be like to get a snow day.
I go in there to record video every time and I just get pummeled with snowballs, and it's probably just the way I'm dressed, I guess, today. But it could be worse.
Put it down.
Proof that a snow day can be as fun as when you were a kid. In Washington, Jason Calvi, EWTN News Nightly.